Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Hello guys, you are once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, your number one political hub in Ghana and beyond. Today I would like you to join me. Before you go, if you are a new member, you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Share the link, subscribe, and also make a comment after listening to what you have heard and your option or your opinion that you think about this video or what lawyer Adaodo has said. Thank you. Be right back.
Generally speaking, Ghanaians tend to think, most Ghanaians tend to think that you're doing a good job. How have you done it?
Well, again, goodwill doesn't appear in a vacuum. You see, if from the very first day you take office, you start misconducting and mismanaging the affairs of the country, you won't get goodwill. And as I have indicated, voters are rational decision makers. They don't attach emotions often to how they assess government. It's really about what they feel and believe to be the state of their welfare. That informs whether they give you a pass or they reject you.
Right.
So if we were misbehaving, misgoverning from day one, they will not give us goodwill. They may overlook it to a certain extent, but it will not extend to the periods that we've seen it. So that goodwill has come about because of specific measurable performance. And then to do the analysis, you have to go back to what the issues were. Why did they even go for us in the first place? As I've said, yes, personalities matter, but more important to the voter is what the parties offer in government. So when in government your performance is poor, they look at the alternative and see if there's some believability to what the alternative is saying, then they vote for the person or that party. So once you come in, you must respond to the issues that informed your election in the first place. And there's no dispute about the fact that the most important issue that defined the 2024 elections was the economy. Because honestly, Moro, everybody would accept that the economy was in shambles. There was pervasive suffering. The figures were stuck. I've told you about the bondholders. Look, there's a Ghana Statistical Service report that showed that sometime in 2023, up to 8.5 million Ghanaians went to bed a day without food. And that is a quarter of our population. We defaulted on our debt, we couldn't pay, and it had severe consequences on us. Our currency depreciated to the extent that because of our import dependency, it became a source of extreme and excruciating hardships and suffering for the people of Ghana. Everything went up. Inflation went through the roof. Unemployment soared. I have the figures here. By the last quarter of 2024, average unemployment was 13.6% or 13.8%. That is phenomenal, huge. In absolute terms, we are talking in excess of about 2 million Ghanaians, Ghanaian youth who were looking for jobs. That is even those looking for jobs who hadn't found it. So the situation was dire. Our energy situation was chaotic. We had huge debts in there that were crippling the sector. Eventually, every sector was in crisis. Education was on its knees. Because even despite the implementation of free SHS, there were serious issues with debt and availability of funding to even feed the students in school. So things were bad. The macroeconomy was in shambles. People simply could not make ends meet. They could not afford basic everyday needs. And therefore, there was an urgent need to turn around the situation.
So what did you do?
So what we have done, first of all, is to reverse the trend of fiscal indiscipline. Sly noted the IMF program.
Right.
Normally, it is when you are under IMF program, you are expected to be reined in terms of your slippages. But more, the figures show that there were serious slippages in key macroeconomic indicators, even under the IMF program. You see, they anchored the IMF program on what they call the primary balance, which is a measure of prudence, how you are spending your revenue. So simply revenue minus expenditure. They discount debt servicing because that one is obligatory. You don't have any leeway. So they look at those ones that you have discretion over. They set a target of a surplus of 0.5%. They did negative 3.9 as primary balance. We showed that the target that they set, they could not achieve. So it is a slippage. The same for the deficit itself. And then arrears build up and what have you. So the IMF program alone will not get you to perform at a certain level unless you yourself apply discipline. But that is what this government has done. That we are remaining fiscally disciplined. Because when you are in government, you come under a lot of pressure. Yeah. There are all manner of demands. It is not all those demands that you can fit into a year's budget. So you need to have the shock absorbers to withstand the influx of demands and pick those that are absolutely important and vital for the welfare of the people and the general running of the country. That is what they could not do. They caved into any and every pressure. So expenditures were overrun by significant margins. The moment you do that, you create a hole in your finances, which affects everything, including your currency. Because you are under pressure to look for money to pay debts. Yeah. So that is what we have done. Fiscal discipline, sticking to the budget. So when you look at the budget presented for 2026, you see the numbers. We set a primary balance target of 1.5% surplus. Okay. We did 1.6% surplus. The deficit is within range. Every indicator is within range. Look at inflation. It is now under 6%, 5.4%, I believe. That is the lowest since 1999, when we recorded 4.8%. In the entire 16 years that the NPP governed this country, they never achieved under 6% inflation. I think the lowest they achieved was 7 or so. The last time we had anything around that was in 1999, which is what, 26 years
ago,
ago, or 27 years ago. So it shows you what level of work has gone in. Today, our debt, we set a target that by 2034, which was 9 years from 2025 when the target was set, our debt to GDP ratio should come to 45%. Now we are around 47%, right. 48%. So our debt to GDP ratio, which measures whether or not your debt is sustainable, is within acceptable limits. You remember that at a point under the NPP, it went to 104%. Yeah. Look at the exchange rate. At Interbank, it was almost 15 cedis to a dollar. But when you went to the Forex Bureau, it was around 17 cedis. We know that in 2024, early 2025, that is what we inherited. Today, at Interbank, it's under 11 cedis. When you go to the Forex Bureau, you may get it between 11.5, 12.5. Yes, that's the truth. But why? We do foreign exchange transactions. Right. Today, when you go to your banks, the rate is lower. It's under 11 cedis. It wasn't the case under them. And because of that, it led to a cost of living crisis, which resulted in extreme hardships for our people. So we have brought the exchange rate under control through the gold board arrangements, which ensures that we have forex liquidity. In other words, you have sufficient forex to give to those who want it to transact business. Okay. And that ensures that the rate comes down. The reason why that is important, and in fact, Sly, he may not know, but let him check Dr. Bamia's speech at Central University. In that speech where he said, if the fundamentals of the economy are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. He also said that for an economy like ours, the most important indicator for prudent economic management is the exchange rate. The reason is that because we are import dependent, it affects almost everything that we use in our daily lives. So once it goes up, the prices go up. And it creates a major cost of living crisis for people. And people begin to suffer the hardships that were prevalent before we came to power. Because we brought the exchange rate under control, we've seen significant improvements in the cost of living. Now, the reason why I say this is I know that
Dr. Aminata says the exchange rate was coming down anyway.
It was coming where? When we came in, it was, I've told you the rates. At the Interbank, it was almost 15 cedis.
Yes.
And then on the forex markets, which on the forex bureaus, who are also accredited dealers in foreign currency, it was almost 17 cedis. So it was not at a level that was acceptable to the Ghanaian people. It was coming down from where? We are not the very ones who took it to 17 cities in November 2022, I believe. So it came to 15 cities at Interbank. How is that beneficial to the people of Ghana? And it made prices go up. But since then, since we took over and managed it better and ensured that it came down, the cost of living situation has improved. I have noted that the MPP have attempted to douse the improved cost of living and create false narratives. They say that the cost of living now is worse than in 2024. That is an absolute falsehood. You see, Moro, one of the things I learned very early in my political life is that you don't argue with the electorate because you won't win. They are like your bosses. You cannot argue with your bosses here and survive. You understand me? So all public officials like myself are enjoined to show respect to the people. You must appreciate their sensibilities. And in your posturing and commentary, you must be sensitive to them. So we are not allowed to exaggerate the impact of our policies. Neither are we allowed to say things that are not true. So we can't sit here and gloat, for instance, that something is better when it is not. But when there is fact, objective fact, that supports a decrease in the cost of living, that one can be asserted. The same principle applies to the opposition. You are also not allowed to peddle on truths in order to carry electoral favor. When you say that the cost of living is worse now than it was under the NPP, it is false. Moro, we all live in Ghana. You, myself, Sly, we live in this country.
Right.
We used to buy things under NPP, and we are buying things now. And we will continue to buy things for as long as we live. Everybody who will be honest will tell you that prices are not the same as they were under the NPP for many items. If indeed Sly is a former MP, so he appreciates it. Look, when you go to Parliament, there's a record of this. The Trades Committee, they have a report in which they capture the input of Guta, which shows that the prices of over 4,500 items have come down.
Okay.
If you do a market survey, simple, you will see it every day. Look, fuel today. Do you know that Goil is selling fuel under 10 cedis this morning? They've advertised it.
Under 10 cedis?
Yes. The same Goil was selling that same fuel for 15 cedis under the NPP. In fact, there was a time under the NPP when diesel sold for 23 cedis. Me, when I campaigned in AAK, the vehicle I was using, the four-wheel drive, I used to buy fuel. To fill it is 2,000 cedis. Today, you need 1,400 cedis to do that. There are people who used to fill their tanks for 2,100 who are doing so now for under 1,000 cedis, including people who are of NPP extraction who have publicly said this. And fuel is important because it runs through the economy. Yes, that is it. Under 9 cedis. They sell it at regular price at 10 cedis. They have stations where they are selling at under 10 cedis, 9.9 cedis. They couldn't do this under the NPP because of how it cost them to import the fuel that they sell. If you go to Star Oil and others, they also have very low prices. So, Moro, today, if you go to the pump, is it true that it is more expensive to buy fuel than it was under the NPP? Okay. So, the cost of fuel, has it come down or has it gone up? It has come down.
Right.
So, when you say the cost of living has gone up, are you telling the truth or not? Moro, I have these items here. Cement, petrol, iron rods, beans, pure water, maize. It used to sell at 1,600 cedis a bag under the NPP. Today, it's around 620 cedis. The Gino rice, a kilogram of rice, used to sell at a certain rate. It is down. Frito used to sell at 930 cedis a box.
Okay.
Now it is 620 cedis. Oats, Starkist, Calipo, Coca-Cola, oil, Kokonte, yam, palm fruits, all those things have come up.
Okay.
So when you go out and say that it is more expensive, it is not true. I hear them also say that, they are paying now, they are paying more for electricity now than they paid under the NDC. But the last time I was here, I explained. As part of the IMF deal, they agreed to quarterly tariff adjustments and a major tariff adjustment in September, October. Page 71 of the last review report that was published before they left power, when they took 360 million dollars from the IMF, captured on page 71 that as a prior action to accessing that money, government had agreed, that's the NPP government had agreed and bound the government of Ghana to quarterly tariff adjustments and a major one in September and October. So you go and agree that this should be done, and when it is done, you turn around and say that cost of living has gone up. So when you were agreeing, what were you thinking?
Do you have that portion of the IMF document?
Oh, I gave it to your producer the last time I was there. I'm sure he has it.
Okay, because
in fact, I have it. When we go on, I can give it to you again. It's on my phone.
This matter came out this week, and I recall it was Kwesi Pratt and the MP for Efija Kwabre North, and his argument was that the document never said.
Let me show you. It is not. It is not true. Look, it is page 71. They call them prior actions. It is there, page 71, and you see, it can be downloaded from the IMF site.
Okay.
So there's no chance. In fact, Ken Oforiatta is on record to have said that the tariff adjustment they did in 2023 was an IMF conditionality.
Okay.
Because the IMF has always been concerned about our energy sector, which shows that we are doing under recovery. So we are never able to at least meet the cost of producing the electricity in terms of revenue. So they agreed to this. It is never in dispute. I've given it to your producer. He can splash it on the screen.
Okay.
So please, when people come out to make these claims, you must know that they are engaging in political deception. You can't do that. You can't agree for electricity prices to go up and then turn around and complain. When you do that, you are disrespecting the electorate, who I've told you are rational decision makers.
Okay.
Spare parts. Indeed, only yesterday, I heard a representative of the Spare Parts Association, ShōCKING, indicate that spare parts prices. And Moro, again, the reason why it will go down is that if you go to the port, and I've taken my time to collate the data. If you go to the ports, for instance, a Toyota Corolla saloon car with home delivery value of around $19,000 in 2024. As at April, if you were clearing it, because the exchange rate was around 15%, a $15 cedis to a dollar, you are going to pay 119 cedis as duty.
Okay.
By December, you would pay 85,000 cedis, which is a saving of 33,000 cedis. Oh, you may say that with a car. Not many people can afford a car, granted. But there are people who buy frozen chicken as food that they eat. Now, they call something chicken, super back, 10 kilograms. So when you bring it in a container with a CIF of $89,000, that's the cost of buying it and the freight. At an exchange rate of 15 cedis to a dollar in April, you were going to pay duty of 985,000 as of April last year. Because of the exchange rate. By December, this had reduced to 707,000 Ghana cedis, which is a saving of 277,000 Ghana cedis. Clinker, the reason why cement prices have dropped is that when they brought clinker in bulk, 60,000 metric tons, in April last year, at an exchange rate of 15 cedis to a dollar, you were going to pay 16 million Ghana cedis as duty. By December last year, it had dropped to 11 million. So that's a saving of 4.5 million Ghana cedis in duty payment. So definitely, because it's an input into the production of cement, it will come down. And indeed, the price of cement has gone down. Everybody knows this in this country. So when you go out and say that, oh, the cost of living is higher now, even though the dollar has gone, it is a blatant falsehood. You are seeking to exploit the sensibility of people. Now, the final point is
those of you who are listening to us who may be wondering what document Felix was reading. We've just captured it on the screen, as you can see.
It is clear.
So you can also go through yourself.
It is clear.
I see Star Case, I see Calico, I see Coca-Cola, and so on. Yes, please try and wrap up on this so I can bring in...
Then the final point, they say, there's a transportation crisis and that transport fares have gone up. Moro, I've showed you that fuel prices have gone down. Is that not so?
Right.
Fuel prices have gone down. Is that not so?
Yeah.
In the fixing of transportation cost, what do they factor in? Fuel price, right? If there are some taxes, and then the cost of spare parts, or the cost of the vehicle itself. So when you import the vehicle and you bring it in, I have showed you that the duty has reduced substantially.
Yeah.
When you go and buy fuel, now they are selling fuel under 10 cedis in some filling stations here. So it has come down from 14, 15 cedis in 2025. Not so.
Yeah.
When you go and buy spare parts, that one too has come down. In terms of taxes, e-levy is gone. COVID levy is gone. Betting tax is gone. Sanitation levy is gone. So what would motivate anybody to increase transport fares, apart from greed and rent seeking? And how do you even attribute that to government? What should government have done that it has not done in terms of the conditions that lead to pricing that should lead to an escalation in the price of these items or transport fares? So there are a few drivers who, because of the Utah season, sought to take advantage of the high demand in transport services to increase their transportation fares. And then what they do is that instead of going to the stations that we know of, they decide to roam, especially in rush hours, and then charge exorbitant rates to exploit customers.
Okay.
But there's no justification whatsoever. I heard one of them say that, oh, the price of kinky has gone up. Moro, you were buying a bag of maize for kinky at 1,600 cedis a bag. Today you buy the same thing for 800 cedis. If you use gas to prepare the kinky, the price of gas too has gone down. Even if you use charcoal, the price of a bag of charcoal has gone down. What justification is there to increase the price of kinky?
So basically, you're saying you've done your part.
So government has done its part, and it has reflected in the price reductions in thousands of items. But there are few people engaged in rent-seeking behavior, which is not an unusual phenomenon. There are those who want to make supernormal profit. So you can say that government should take action, even though we don't have a price control system now, because that one to comes with its own negatives. That comes with its own negatives because of it's been done before in the past, and it didn't end well. Understand me? But you cannot say that because of the rent-seeking behavior of a tiny minority in our society, the thousands of items whose prices have reduced cannot be the case.
Okay.
That is political deception.
All right.
So if you ask me to summarize, I would say that the policies of President Obama have ensured an easing in the cost of living.
Okay.
Under the MPP, there was an escalation in the cost of living arising directly from the policies of the Akufo-Addo administration and the Aboagye-led economic management team.
All right.
Thank you for watching this video. We much appreciate your time and say God bless you for the good work you are doing. Please, if you have really enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up by subscribing and liking the channel. Do share to other friends to also enjoy what is happening in the political arena. And the way forward, keep watching PENDREAM TV, keep questioning, and subscribe, turn the notification bell on to keep you updated always. Thank you.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.